Hello, everybody. I'm sorry I couldn't participate in person. I had a flight change, which meant that I will be in the air as you meet. But I'm delighted that you are meeting and that you're interested in new national security threats, which is clearly a fast growing area of concern for liberal democracies in Europe and beyond. But in Europe, the problem goes far beyond the disinformation that people have been talking about now for years, disinformation stemming from Russia and being targeted against various European countries with the intent of harming, poisoning, distorting their public discourse. That is a huge challenge, but it's not particularly new. That's been going on for a number of years now. And obviously, if you ask people in the Baltic states, they'll say it has been going on ever since they regained independence. So it's not particularly new. We have been seeing an increase in recent years, but what's newer is the innovation in national security threats coming from Russia, but of course increasingly from Belarus as well. And that is the most acute situation at the moment, Belarus's aggression against Latvia, Lithuania, and Poland, involving the weaponization of migrants. And that illustrates that tactic by Belarus illustrates how much you can achieve as an aggressor in the gray zone between war and peace by using means that are either completely unpalatable to the other side, so they would never use them, or by using means that no other country had previously thought of, and certainly that the targeted countries hadn't thought of defending themselves against. And this is, of course, a challenge. How, as a liberal democracy, can you defend yourself against every single offensive action that the other side might come up with, and not just come up with, but undertake? So that is a challenge. While Belarus has been engaging in weaponization of migrants, Russia has been rather more silent, not silent, rather more quiet than usual. But we should remember that Russia isn't, and also we should say that Russia has also been rather quiet compared to China, which has been on the offensive recently, not least with hostage diplomacy and coercion of Western companies, or coercion using Western companies. So Russia, I think that the challenge is the challenge is always to figure out what Russia might try next, and it's so easy to predict something that they've already done. And how can you predict something they haven't already done? That again is a challenge. But while we're trying to figure out what their next move is, we should think about, we should look after the areas where we know it's already active, Russia is already active. And that involves, of course, the continuing use of disinformation. But also, we should think about, instead of trying to identify what Russia will do next, we should think about what we can do on our side to create more resilience against whatever Russia comes up with next. And the resilience that we create shouldn't just be targeted, or shouldn't just be about one particular area. Resilience is sort of a state of mind, or a state of affairs, or a state of readiness. So resilience, societal resilience, is a state of readiness across society. So with the goal that whatever the disruption is that comes your way, it will have limited effect. And that's, I think, where we can do a lot as liberal democracies. We can't predict what the other side is going to do next. We can't necessarily stop it, although we should obviously signal to Russia, that there will be consequences. And if you're interested in what else can be done, I cover this in my new book called The Defender's Dilemma: Identifying and Deterring Gray Zone Aggression. But at the most basic level is to increase societal resilience by making sure that every part of society is involved in trying to keep society safe. So I leave you with this thought: don't try to predict what Russia is going to do next. We will inevitably fail because Putin and his advisors are clearly very innovative. And if we always only match our efforts to the specific form of disruption or aggression that the other side engages in, then we will always we'll always be one step behind. We'll always be trying to catch up, and the sort of measures that we come up with are invariably going to be directed against the wrong acts of aggression by that country. And so, how do we involve the rest of society? Again, I would have loved to participate live in the discussion and to highlight more of what can be done. But suffice it to say that I think unlike military aggression, which is it's not a likely prospect. We should always prepare for it, but because it's not a likely prospect, people don't really see the need to take it seriously. But with this form of aggression, not only is it likely, it's already there. And I think that's the basis on which we can involve the population, because they see it, they know it's happening in their countries, and they want they want for their lives to be as unaffected as possible by this, and because we all want a convenient lifestyle. So everybody, companies, governments, and the wider population have an interest, I think, in trying to limit the effects of this aggression that is taking place. And with this, I wish you a good discussion, and I hope to participate next time.